taken. Management wishes to report that it has since spent 32,773,244.36 on CDF activities, leaving the balance of 14,716,114.68 as at 31st December 2023. See the copy of the return attached in Appendix 3. Remedial measure: management will enhance engagement with Parliament Ministry on matters of policy guidance. The second query: management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to report that in the year under review, the CDF guidelines on community project were issued in February 2022, and following the issuance, a circular was issued instructing that no CDF activity should be undertaken without training of the committees for a period of not less than 6 months. On the completion of this training, committees are to be formed, after which the request for authority were sought for community projects centrally from the ministry. Following the approval by the ministry, at the conclusion of the procurement process, contracts had to be sent centrally to the Office of the Attorney General for clearance before implementation. Action taken: out of the 9 projects in question, 8 have since been completed and handed over to the community as per attached verified status report dated 25 November 2023, while the other remaining project is still under construction owing to the contract termination and poor workmanship of the contractor. Refer to the status report and the photos in Appendix 2. Further, management wishes to report that it has since spent 13,082,707.35 on community project, leaving the balance of 2,076,043.47 as at 31st December 2023. See the copy of the return and the status report attached. Remedial measure: management will enhance engagement with Parliament Ministry on the matters of policy guidance. I submit, Chair.
Are you done? Yes. It's done. Okay. Thank you very much. Points of clarification now. Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. I refer to Appendix 2, the status of the projects, which is basically answering to the questions of cross-cutting issues and failure to spend. I notice project number 3, which is construction of 1x3 classroom block, staff house, and the installation of 10,000 liters of water tank at Mwatachi Konko in primary school, is still awaiting clearance from the Attorney General. What is the cause of delay for this particular project? And also, I've noticed that you have commissioned some projects. You have commissioned some projects, but there is no handover certificate or completion certificate. Are these projects really commissioned? Because commissioning means that you have handed over the projects for usage by the beneficiaries. So there's no evidence that you've given, unless they are somewhere. Just these 2 questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The cause of a delay on the construction of Mwatachi Nkonkole Primary School is due to the fact that this contract, Chair, you may wish to learn that it was awarded to the contractor who delayed to implement the project. Due to time lapse, the contract terminated itself. Secondly, we observed that the contractor did short works. Hence, the contract was terminated, and it has been advertised for procurement process, all the procurement process are done. It has been awarded to another contractor, Chair.
Yes, before you go further, there is a current status. And the current status is saying, awaiting for clearance from the Attorney General. But the information that you are giving this committee, the contractor was even once awarded the contract. So, can you clear us? What is the status? Are you telling this committee that what you have stated here is not the right position of this particular project? Yes?
Thank you, Chair. What I meant, Chair, on the current status, we are talking about the second procurement process. First, Chair, it was awarded to a contractor who started the works. He started the works, that was in 2022, and the contractor by last year failed to complete the project. So it terminated itself due to time lapse, and secondary, due to short works. So we started afresh the normal procurement process.
Okay.
This is the one which is now
okay,
speaking to the status for Chair.
Before you go any further, before Honorable, did you make any advance payment to this particular contractor?
Thank you, Chair. We never made any advance payment to this
Honorable.
contractor.
Chair, in the first place, I was so happy with Mwansavombo. The report is lean, that's how it should be. But now the answers. Where is the Director of Works and the one in procurement? CS, acting CS. We are happy with what you are saying. But in here, all what you are saying is not there. No wonder the chairperson is saying the current status awaiting. That's the genesis of the question. So what you are telling your committee, where is that evidence that you even it has terminated itself? Now we have re-advertised. Where is all that? I'm a layman. When a project has already gone to Attorney General, cleared, given to a contractor, and terminated, do you still need to take it back to Attorney General? No wonder I'm asking of procurement officer and Director of Works, maybe together with the planner. Put us in a no.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on the document that needs to be attached for one, re-advertising and the normal procurement process, we need to acknowledge that for this particular project you've talked about, because it wasn't a specific question, we did not attach, and we need to acknowledge that. But the truth of the matter, Chair, stands that these documents are available at our office, which can be submitted for verification to the auditors to confirm that there was a first termination of a contract. Secondary, we followed the normal procurement process, which is, as at today, has been cleared by Attorney General, and we've awarded another contractor to do the works and finish up the works, Chair.
Honorable.
You have awarded,
Yes.
but it's awaiting Attorney General's clearance.
Chair, I said at the time of preparing the report,
Yes.
it was awaiting the Attorney General's clearance.
The chairperson categorically said, so where are we? Are you still awaiting, or you have awarded currently.
Chair, we've awarded currently.
So this report is misleading. When was the contract awarded?
It was, Chair, last week.
So where is the evidence again?
CS, you prepared, there is a date stamp here on 16th February. And to us, what we know is that when you say current status, you see the happenings of issues at that particular time. And there is this date stamp dated the 16th February. Maybe if you can just reconcile the last week that you awarded and the 16th February 2024, which the date stamp is being seen here. It's 2024. I want to know, and again, you stated that you never paid anything to the first contractor. How was the contract agreement? Why didn't you pay any advance payment to him?
Thank you, Chair. I acknowledge the fact that I'll start with the issue of the status report. Chair, I need to acknowledge that on the part of our submission, we didn't update this status report. We picked the information that we got previous, that we acknowledge. On Chair, on the issue of payment, we never paid anything to the first contractor. The agreement within the contract was that as the contractor claims from the council, and upon verification of the works done, the council will make a payment to the contractor. The contractor would choose either to do an advance payment or claim as they do the works. So this contractor never came on board to the local authority to make a request for any either advance payment or any payment. This is the reason, Chair, why we didn't make any payment to this contractor.
Honorable Shakafuso.
Yes, at the time of termination, what works did the contractor do on site?
At the time of termination, Chair, the contractor just done excavation works and the box, which started developing clerks. Thank you, Chair.
Dr. Mwanza.
You were saying the box started developing cracks. At the time of termination, the contractor did some work. At least you can attest to that. At the termination, did you make payment for that work, which he did? We are interested because we want to see, for this particular project, there's one, time delay. Then second is what is the cost implication? Because the period that the contractor was on site, you must have spent some administration costs in monitoring the project. So there's some cost somehow. And this budget, this approved amount, this 1,566,600, we are not sure whether government lost some money because of engaging the previous contractor or not. And your excuse that you focused just on the audit queries to provide proof of certain information is not correct, because on page 4 you have budget performance. So this budget performance, you are you are explaining the status of each project, and each project needs to come with all the nitty-gritties, all the information that is needed. Anyway, the question is, did council lose any money by engaging this contractor or not? If so, how much? And this estimated amount, did it remain constant? Was this the amount of money that you budgeted for in order to award that contractor before? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. The amount stated here, Chair, is what we budgeted for. And in terms of paying the contractor, there is nothing like I stated earlier. There is no payment that has been done. Maybe on the component of the local authority monitoring the works, we did monitor the works. This is the reason why we ascertained that the quality of works that was being done on the project were not up to the standard. Hence, it would have meant that the local authority would be very responsible to make payment for short works or works that do not qualify to be paid for, Chair.
Honorable Mtel.
For lack of better words, we are just listening to storytelling. That's the problem when there is no evidence. Even yourself, you are now not depending on your submitted document. You are bringing now stories, and you want your committee chair to take stories. That's what you want? The new contractor, as per what you are telling your committee, you have given the contract at the total sum of how much? Because this is odd.
Chair, we've given the contract at a total sum of 1,082,264.80.
Will that be still enough? How come the first one, it's 1,082,082, the second one, 1,082,082? Is it possible that all the two contractors will quote the same price?
Thank you, Chair. I may not be, Chair, precise to state at what amount the contractor will bid for a project. The only thing the local authority, the responsibility of a local authority is to advertise the project and specify the scope of work that will be undertaken. And
yes, you won't come and start lecturing this committee. All those issues we know, because if you advertised, where are the evidence here? So for us, we don't know if you advertised or not. And for us, we don't know if you just single picked. Because what we follow are the documents. And just imagine, this is a 2022 issue. And you are telling this committee that you just awarded a contractor last week. 2 years. Without this 1x3 classroom block and the staff house. Now, I want also to find out, do you think CS, this 1,082,264 will be enough to construct a 1x3 classroom block, a staff house, and installation of 10,000 liters water tank? Are you telling this committee that this amount is enough to do all these type of works? Yes?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, maybe for the sake of speciality, may I ask the Director of Works to just clarify on the part of the scope of work and the amount involved. But as far as it came to the Office of the Council Secretary, I think from the procurement process and procurement committee, the whole committee and process were satisfied that this amount could do the works stated, Chair.
And as the Director of Works is coming, we want to know how much a 1x3 classroom block will cost, how much a staff house will cost, and also how much is the installation of 10,000 liters will cost, so that we see if this value that you have put here, it will be sufficient. Director of Works.
Thank you, Chair. For the amount for staff house and 1x3 and water recirculation, that amount cannot be enough. I think I talked to the CS about it, and we agreed maybe after the project starts, we can do the variation. But for 1x3, according to our location, it's about 850. Then staff house is about 400. Then water articulation is about 250. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. So now, we want to know how much you have awarded. How much is the contract sum to the second contractor? Since when you add this amount, it is almost coming to 1.5, something there. So how much is the contract sum to the second contractor?
Chair, the amount stated here, 1,082,264, is the total amount that we've awarded to the second contractor. You may, maybe Chair, you may just wish to appreciate that the amount that we awarded for the previous contractor was not 1,082,000. This is for the second contractor, Chair.
Yes, you are confusing yourself. You said this report stands as it was done. The only thing that is totally new is just the date. Now you are changing to say no. For the amount, this is the new amount. We earlier asked you to say, may we have all what you are saying in paper, in evidence? No, it was just last week. But the same last week you were able to say 16th February. And today is 19th. You remembered. You are telling us this is the new, contract sum for the new contractor. What is the old contract sum?
Also, just an addition.
The chair asked, your director of works has said, no, this amount is not enough. We are yet to vary. So you are confusing your committee. To me, Chair, in the absence of evidence, we may not continue on this one. Because you are just telling story. You can pick anything and you want your committee to agree.
Sis, are you able to confirm that at the time you were doing your scope of works, this is why you got an approved amount of 1.566600, and then when you advertise the works, the successful bidder bidded for 1,082,000. Is that the position?
Yes, Chair. Exact position.
Thank you very much. I think before we make a conclusion, CS, on page 5, you have stated that the number of approved projects in 2020, number of projects brought forward in 2021, there were 0. Number of approved, there are 9. Now, based on the very status report, why do we have 15 projects instead of 9? Where have you gotten the other 6 from, since you didn't have any brought forward projects?
Chair, on the 15 project, this includes 1 the disaster component, which is paid at 5% of the amount sent under community projects. 2, we did some variation for the remaining funds. They constituted one more project. I think, Chair, this is why you've seen more projects, they've increased.
So, auditors, for this project, we would want to see the full documentation of this particular contractor, the engagement, how it was advertised, who had to bid the highest, how the contractor was picked, so that we can close this matter.
And also to verify if the old contract was closed, because you can't go and get a new contract without the new contractor claiming, and then you pay them and then you close it.
Thank you very much for that addition. So take note of that. I think we can move to another question. Honorable Shakafuso.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
What did you say concerning the completion of certificates? Where are they? On the ones you've commissioned?
On the ones that we've commissioned, Chair, the completion certificate can be availed to our auditors.
You see?
But what I wanted to state, Chair, if you look at the pictures.
Yes, we can. You can come anywhere and pick pictures. Okay, we've seen the pictures. Even here, we take pictures. You were in Chongwe, isn't it? Were you in Chongwe?
Yes, Chair.
Yes. So maybe you were picking these pictures from Chongwe. Who would know? No wonder we want the what? Completion certificate.
Just before.
Just to finish.
Okay.
Yes, the Chair, through you, the pictures are not labeled. So how do we know they are in Monsabombo? Maybe you picked them from Chalimbana. No wonder evidence here is very important. I'll repeat, your report is very lean. But now no wonder it is so lean. I was wondering. You brought no evidence. You brought stories. Your committee will not buy stories here.
So, CS, also the completion certificate, you need to submit them so that we close these chapters. Honorable Shaka Fuswa, the next question.
Yes, Chair. Page 3. I wanted to know out of the 120 selected applicants to undertake various projects under youth and women grants, we have 22 groups that could not be reached, and there were no records at council to ascertain their status. In your response, you are saying you have written to them to stick to the applied projects. I want to find out. Like, for example, in Appendix 1, Kambi Mount Purpose Cooperative and Tubombeshe, New Youth Tubombeshe, Mount Purpose Cooperative. Are you in a position, Tanga, to tell us what are they doing, these people? Did you go and check the status of their operations? What is it that they are engaged in? I've just picked 2 out of the 22.
CS, before an addition, yes.
And you've said to all grant beneficiaries. Oh, your appendices, that's the headline. And surprisingly enough, when were these letters written? 15th January 2024. Somewhere it says 15th January 2023, then you changed. And when you changed, you never signed. What do you do? You substantively, you are a treasurer. When you change a number, what do you do to that number? What do you do, acting CS?
Chair, you sign against it.
So why didn't you sign against whosoever was doing that?
Chair, we apologize for that mistake.
So start with Honorable Shakafuswa. Second, you just wrote on 15th January 2024. When were you audited for you to write 15th January 2024?
CS, you can start with the questions with Honorable Shakafuswa, then you end up with these two questions.
Chair, before I could go on the specific projects that these groups are doing, I may just invite in the DPO to shed light on that party. Then I'll come to the other issue, Chair.
DPO.
Thank you so much, Chair. In terms of the specific activities, I think I may not be in a position to give the exact project at this moment, but in the records we are able to check. Chair, the other addition I can give is, this is the more reason why we've given a
Before
sample.
you give an addition, what did you just submit? We want to get clarity.
Yes, Chair. What I'm referring to is that in terms of memorizing for all the beneficiaries, the actual projects at the moment, I may not be able to give that information to the House.
We have just asked for two. I heard the Honorable is just asking for two, not for you to memorize all.
I've asked because the auditor's report is saying they couldn't ascertain the status. And what you should have done, I've also seen your administrative funds there. You've used everything. You have a monitoring vehicle. You don't have documents. You were supposed to go to each of these 22 clubs, not writing letters to them. You go and check at what level their operations are. And then you submit to this committee to say, we went on the ground, we found number 1 up to 22, they are doing this, these are the photos. Not what you have written here, where you are telling us that you've written to them and they've acknowledged. Chair, I think I'm now guiding instead of asking, but they need to be asked, why didn't you go down to monitor and ascertain the status of these 22? That is now my question. Since you have a vehicle and administrative funds.
Council Secretary, before you answer, let me recognize our chair. He can introduce himself. If you have got a question, he can also continue.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mansawambwe, my name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and I'm a member of this committee. Can I go ahead with your question?
Yes, you can, so that he...
Thank you very much. Just a rider on my colleague's question, that you have 22 clubs or cooperatives. So I wanted to find out what comes first. On what basis were you writing to these cooperatives? On what basis? And of course this year. So you wrote to them on what basis? If you have not been to their places, so what was the basis of doing that? Thank you.
In short, our chair is asking, were you basing the letters on a rumor that they were not doing anything? So start with the Honorable Shakafuswa, the chair. You want to add?
Yes, sir. On the same.
Yes.
You've stated at the time of audit, beneficiaries were not reached due to their various personal engagements. I guess these personal engagements continue on daily basis. Now, how were you able to reach them this time around? They stopped their personal engagements? At the time of audit, you failed to reach them because of their personal engagement. But now you have reached them. Did they stop their personal engagement? If they did, how did you come to know now that now they are free? They are not engaged in any personal activities.
CS, start with Honorable Shakafuswa. I'm sure you are taking note. Then secondly for Honorable Mulunda, then the last for Honorable Mtel.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on the issues of specifying what exactly Kambi's group multipurpose is doing, I would state, like the DPO has said, we may need to get to the documents and then clarify. But what, Chair, you...
Before you go any further, you wrote letters. You wrote letters. Now, why were you writing letters? What did they do for you to write letters to them? What offense did they do? And how did you know that they have committed an offense for you to write the letters?
Chair, I need to state that we have a database of these cooperatives, and the issue at hand is that these groups, at the time of audit, they were not operating. One of the major reasons why they were not operating, like stated, they were engaged in personal engagements. You may appreciate, Chair, the fact that the time of audit was during the period that most of us were doing farming. And most of these people had gone out in the field to do their farmings. And you may also need to appreciate that in Mwanzawombwe we've got the challenges of network. So at times you may get through to someone, at times you may not get through, depending on the network status, Chair. So at the time of audit, these people, we could not trace them because they went out to do their personal works. Secondly, when this query, Chair, was raised, we took a step as a local authority not to just sit idle. We followed these groups. In the first place, to show evidence that we followed these people. This is the reason why, Chair, we drafted these letters to them, for them to acknowledge the receiving of the letter. Should we want to follow them tomorrow, we'll base our information on the letters that we wrote to them. This is how we wrote the letter.
Did they acknowledge that they received the letters?
Yes, Chair. If you look at the letters down there, they are signing who received the letter and their details.
Honorable Shakafusu.
Who was part of the delivery of letters and the following of these groups?
Thank you, Chair. This is one of the core mandate that socio-economic planning...
Who amongst the people? Why?
Amongst planning, Chair. Planning and finance.
I'll go back to my question. You went on the ground, planning and finance. What was the status of these clubs? Some, remember you're saying this was the farming period, and they applied for funding to do farming. But you're saying they were doing their personal errands. Don't confuse yourself. Us, you will not confuse us, because we are reading what is in the report. So when you went on the ground, what did you find these clubs doing? Planning.
Also planning, remember you told this committee that you can't remember. So even as you are answering, don't forget that you once told this committee that you can't remember. So you can proceed.
Chair, as Ada mentioned, for me to give specific details, I may need to refer to the database. But I also want to refer you to the appendix as well, because there's one club which has got information, which is also sitting under the 22, which is Kapesa, Kapeshi Women's Development, where they were doing...
Appendix what? 1?
Appendix 1, under the CDF monitoring reports for grants 2022. On page 2, Chair.
Page 2.
Of that CDF monitoring report for grants 2022.
Page 2. Where? Page 2, where I can't.
Chair, maybe just to help in finding the document. Appendix 1,
Yes.
you go beyond the letters that were written. You find the training report for empowerment.
Okay.
After the training report, there's a report where we are specifying the status.
Okay. Okay.
The chair through you. Even these documents are supposed to be numbered. Becomes easier like that.
Okay. So number 1, CDF monitoring report for grants 2022. Yes.
Yes, when you turn the next page, there is where it says Kapesa Kalashi Women's Development Grant.
Yes.
Yes, yes, Chair. So, Chair, like for example, for Kapesa Kalashi Women's Development Group, we are doing chicken rearing. Chair, I also wish to stress the nature of.
Yes.
Yeah, just there. Now you have remembered that those are doing chicken rearing. Because you said you cannot remember. How come you have now remembered?
Okay. Chair, through your Chair, I think the query which was asked was on a specific. There were specific groups that the Honorable had mentioned.
Yes,
which
on the specific groups. No wonder he repeated the question to say, I specifically mentioned of 2 groups. But in your own words, you said, I cannot remember. Those days, maybe you, but those days in school, there was now a question, can you remember? Now you have remembered.
Chair, what I was referring to is that the specific groups which were highlighted by the Honorable Chair, I couldn't recall because I don't have them in my database. The reason why I've referred to that group is because it's already on record and I'm able to refer to it. And the Chair, like you mentioned, I'm under oath not to mislead the House. This is why I have such reservations, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Shakafuso.
I still want to hear him. What is the story you want to tell us?
On the same, we haven't finished, yes.
Okay, Chair. The reason why I've referred to Kapesa Kalasa is that the biggest challenge is that even when we find that they are doing such an activity, you find that only at certain time they're able to refer to one person to do this particular activity. The rest of the group will also do other errands aside from the actual business that is there. The challenge we've had, for example, for the 22 is that the issue of contact numbers that are sitting in our database, some of them became unreachable at the time of audit. And you observe, Chair, that the reason why we brought in that later and what is sitting in our response is that we were getting an updated contact details as a starting point for us now to beef up in terms of the monitoring for easy location of these particular beneficiaries.
Okay,
thank
so
you, Chair.
you are saying at the time of audit, you never reached these cooperatives. What is the status quo as at now?
Chair, the status quo as at now is that we've reached these people. This is the reason why we are able to deliver the letters, for them to acknowledge receipt of these letters.
So in terms of projects, what's the status quo? We appreciate the letters you delivered. What did you find? Did you find out that they are doing something, or you just delivered the letter that was enough for you and you left?
Chair, the DP wants to say something?
Before you come in, yes, Chair.
Chair, just An addition, the letters were delivered on, they were written on 15th January 2024. Have you been to those cooperatives in between? 15th, I think, was last week, eh? Last month, last month. So a month ago, have you been there? Because what the chair is trying to find out is, you went there and you realized they are not doing fine. You came back and wrote the letters to them. And after writing the letters, now you expect them to be doing something. Have you been there to just check on how they are faring now? Thank you, Chair.
CS or DPO? Any?
Chair, before I respond to the second query, I would love also just to clarify on the same group that I was referring to, which is showing evidence that at the time they were starting this particular project where they were doing the chicken rearing, we had gone there to ascertain that they are actually there. But at the time the auditors were trying to reach these people, they were unable to be reached. So then, Chair, our observation has been that some of these groups, in terms of, because before you visit them, of course, you obviously have to contact them, looking at the geographic nature of our district. So our immediate focus, Chair, was to ensure that we get updated contact numbers before we could beef up in terms of the monitoring. Chair, the period under review, in terms of monitoring to ascertain the actual status was a bit difficult for us because our commitment was to deal with the CDF approvals for 2024, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Mlunda.
This is the DPO. DPO, you're an intelligent young man. But I doubt what you are telling the committee is what is obtaining. I doubt. If we asked you, if you are saying, intelligently you are saying, we need to get hold of these people before we go there. We have councillors there. The people that are supposed, that actually sit in those WDCs, they are there. And you can't say, DPO, that we concentrated on this area. That's why we neglected the other. That's why we have not monitored. It's to us. We can't accept that. Because the CS and team and the other members would deal with that. But you have an issue on your table that these have not been performing. And you needed to be there. The money is there, the vehicle is there. I'm told it's finished. Right? Is that the reason why he's not going there? So the money is there and everything. You need maybe one or even two officers, yourself and somebody else. You go there and visit and make sure that it is, because you found a query, because you found the auditors found that they are not doing very fine. So you needed to be on top of things. So an excuse that we concentrated, like we're asking the CS, or even the CS will still ask him, but you as a department, you know that you're supposed to be on top of that, and you're supposed to be the one bring actually the progress reports to him or to management. So who goes there if you say, I'm busy, I'm doing other things? Who should go there? Chair, I find it very difficult to comprehend what he's trying to give this committee.
Honorable Mtel.
Me too. Thank you, Chair. In the first place, you said network is a challenge. Then you come back, we have to get their numbers. On this one, we were delivering the letters, the ones you've written to all grant beneficiaries. When we deliver, we'll make them now sign for evidence to say, we have found you. Yes or no? CS.
True, Chair.
Now you have found them. The question is, after finding them, they even acknowledge you can't find what they are doing.
Chair.
GPO, you can't. You have struggled yourself, you've gone all the way, you've found them. Are you the ones? Yes, acknowledge. How many beneficiaries are in this? 22. You found them. Thank you, you found them. And now we ask you, what did you find on the ground? You bring different issues. Honorable Shakafuswa said you only confuse yourselves. Not your committee.
So, DPO, you found them. Again, you are submitting to this committee that you need again to check in your database. Have you seen how you are confusing this committee? When us, you can't confuse us because we are able to read. When you found them, when they signed, I'm sure you followed each beneficiary for them to sign. At the time of signing, did you find that they are doing something, or you just met them at a nearby place for them to acknowledge that they have received a letter? Yes.
Chair, the groups were found.
What were
And
they doing?
currently, they are doing something. They are doing different activities. Maybe what we need to appreciate, Chair, is the fact that with the guidance of a committee, we appreciate we need
the
to
correct,
enhance.
yes, we want the correct statement so that the DPO and you should have one information that you should deliver to this committee. DPO said he can't remember what these beneficiaries are doing, correct? And then the CS now is admitting that these beneficiaries are doing something. We want now, can you reconcile the two?
Chair, if you heard what the DPO said, he was specifically answering to the group we gave as example, where he said specify what Kambi Mount Purpose is doing. That's why he said for this specific group, Chair, we may need to get to the
Chair.
database.
Okay.
Chair, point of order. The witness can't say if you...
Yes.
You say, no, the submission from this one, not if you heard, meaning he doesn't listen. Chair, is that the...
No, I think the...
Apologies, Chair.
Here you can only state that the submission that was made, not if you didn't, if you heard. It means we are not here, we are not hearing what you are submitting. You can, with that collection, you can go ahead and see.
Thank you, Chair.
Where are we now?
Chair, we know what these groups are doing. If a comprehensive report can be done and what the General can verify for the 22 groups, that is a status. And we need to appreciate, Chair, the fact that the guidance this committee has given us will even help us more to do more monitoring for the future fundings.
Thank you very much. Honorable Munda.
Chair, we appreciate if now the local authority is saying they are doing something. Can you cite two cooperatives what they are doing from the letters that you wrote, just two of them out of 22?
On this one, DPO.
Chair, as earlier mentioned, one of them like a Pesa Kalashi, which is in Mununshi, as indicated in the report, is doing chicken rearing. Even at the time of inception of the project, actually, we had gone there at that time. They are doing chicken rearing, Chair. In terms of the other example, Chair, as earlier mentioned, I may need to refer to, I wouldn't want to mislead the House, Chair.
As we're winding up.
Thank you so much. I may not have been to Mwansavombwe, but having interacted with you, Mwansavombwe geographically, is it an easy place to reach? DPO, Mwansabombwe, what you told your committee. Yes, yes. Is it easy to navigate?
Chair, the district is accessible, though we've got challenges. Thank you, Chair.
You have to be careful the way you answer us. Because first you said we have challenges. Mwansabombwe is very hard. And it's rain season. So how were you able to reach all the 22 clubs during this rain season? I've gone through the papers. Somewhere you've changed. Just for the purposes of coming to meet your committee. Mwansabombwe, no, we have challenges with network. No, for us to reach them, we have to contact them first. You are busy flip-flopping, twisting your tongues. No. Chair, you still have 14 million unspent. CS, why? 14 million still sitting in your account. Why?
As well,
Should we ask your mother ministry to take it away from Mwansabombwe and maybe give others who would want to make use of the monies?
As we are winding up, in addition, we would want to know the status quo for now for administration component. Are you at zero for 2022?
Chair, on the administration component, the balance, I may ask the treasurer to just...
Treasurer? Administration component?
Thank you, Chair. We are not at zero as per se. We have utilized more than 80% of the funds under administration.
Why haven't you spent the 14 million?
Chair, on the 14 million, you need to appreciate that this is the combination of 2022 and 2023.
That language you were guided. There's some language that we don't use in this committee. We should appreciate for you not utilizing 14 million. That's what we are telling this committee.
Sorry, Chair, apology. I retract my statement.
Yes. I think this is Honorable Mwanza, as we are winding, we need to, yes.
Yeah, sorry, okay, I don't need the answer, but I find this a very serious anomaly on the Appendix 2, the rehabilitation, project number 7, rehabilitation of Matters Palace. The approved amount was 500,000 kwacha.
Yes.
Appendix 2, yes.
The first one, yes.
The approved amount was 500,000 kwacha, which is the budget, which is the money that was kept aside for this project. And then you negotiated and awarded this contract at 600,000 kwacha, which is 100,000 kwacha above the monies set aside. So where did you get the balance? I mean, where did you get the monies, additional funds? And I'm also interested, is our Mata Kazembe also receiving the house? Is he also a beneficiary of the chief's the palace's houses across the country or not?
Yes. Where did you get the difference?
Chair, the difference came from the variations for the remaining funds.
Where is the approved variation?
Chair, if I may be given the opportunity, we can go and get the documents from the office. It was not just attached.
Okay. CSC here is a committee that believes in evidence. So whenever you are coming, as we are winding up, and we want to appreciate that you have appeared before this committee. So next time when you are coming, whatever you are telling us should be based on the documents. The variation that we're talking about, you would have just said, LIFA Appendix 2, there is a variation. We don't just get the verbal stories. So having said that, you need to go and make sure that you put your house in order. All the documents that are needed, you need to put them. The completion certificate, as we have assigned our external auditors, they need to get to know how that contractor got the contract, the first contractor, how you terminated, how the responses was, and so forth. And by I'm sure this is February. By March, April, we need to have all those documents. As now I'm going to remove the immunity that we conferred on you, and we wish you well and travel safely to Mwansabombe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. We also want to appreciate, Chair, the guidance that this committee has given us. We'll make sure that we put into implementation whatever guidance that you are giving us as a committee.
Thank you very much. You can take it.
Cholera is an acute diarrheal infection caused by ingestion of food or water contaminated with the bacterium Vibrio cholerae.
Symptoms of cholera include vomiting, diarrhea, and dehydration.
How do you prevent cholera?
Be sure to drink and use safe water that has been boiled or chlorinated.
Wash your hands with soap and safe water before handling the food or after using the toilet.
Use clean water to wash your vegetables and fruits. Avoid eating foods from the street that have been exposed to flies.
Always eat food that is completely cooked and hot.
Make sure to visit your nearest health care center when you have suspected cholera cases.
Remember, prevention is better than cure.
My name is Jeff Murebwa, or to complete the first name is Jeffrey Murebwa, and I was born at Kalulu village in Chief Chiwala. I'm just turning 60 on the 20th of this month, 20th November. I went to Chiwala Primary School. That's where I started my grade 1, and I went up to grade 7. In my first year of attempting my grade 7 exams, I couldn't make it, so I went to repeat the year at Lupia Primary School, That's where I qualified from and went to Chikola Secondary School in Chingola. That's where I did all my secondary education. That is from Form 1 to Form 5. Those days we used to call them forms, not as you call them these days, the grades. So after school, basically, I had my first job at Apollo Enterprises as a purchasing clerk. Thereafter, I did a course with a college in the United Kingdom, diploma in sales and marketing management. So that was my main job for some years. And then I also now, after serving as group and sales marketing manager in Ndola, I went into pastoral work where I've been for so many years. But may I also state that along the way I did train as a as a professional counselor, and I'm also a lawyer. I qualified as a lawyer in the United Kingdom, and I was married to my wife for 28 years, and unfortunately I lost her to cardiac arrest on the 17th of July 2016. I am not married yet, or I haven't remarried, because it's been very difficult to find Miss Right. My constituency happens to be Kafulafuta. Now, as I said, I was born and bred in Kafulafuta, and as I was growing up, really, Kafulafuta didn't look like it was anything that one would bother about in the years to come. We grew up in the village doing what every other child would do in a village setup, where I would go kill some birds with catapults, then go to steal some sweet potatoes and do some uvuni, as we used to call it. So basically, I grew up not knowing that Kafulafuta was actually a very wealthy place, until in the recent years, when companies have come to invest in Kafulafuta. May I be quick to mention that one of the thriving companies in cement manufacturing, which is Dangote Industries, is actually in Kafulafuta. Then we have Handman Lime, which is one of the top lime manufacturers as well. It is in Kafulafuta. We have Nelkant group of companies. In the sense that they have the lime manufacturing side, they have the cable manufacturing side, and they also have the metal manufacturing side. Then we have another company called Shenzhou, and part of Zambezi, Portland, is actually in Kafulafuta. So Kafulafuta basically is supposed to be a very, very rich place. So over the years, I noticed that despite having all these companies set up, and despite the wealth in the constituents, the people of Kafulafuta did not benefit in any way. To start with, the employment opportunities were supposed to be given to the people of Kafulafuta, and unfortunately, very few of them have been employed by these companies, when I mean by all the companies that I've mentioned, a good number of employees tend to come from town. And I know someone might say, well, maybe they are not qualified, but a good number of these people that are coming from town are doing general work, which the people of Kaflafuta can do. So I would say that because of some injustices, the people of Kaflafuta have not benefited from what is rightfully theirs. And this is something that I feel I need to have addressed at whatever cost. This must be addressed, and the people of Kaflafuta must benefit from what is rightfully theirs. I know that this might not be the right forum. No, actually it is. Yeah, it is the right forum. When it comes to the CDF, this is why I've taken a very, very firm stand that all the projects in Kaflafuta must be done by the people from Kaflafuta, except where we don't have the expertise, where we don't have people with the skills to undertake a certain project. Then we are definitely going to open up to people from outside Kaflafuta. So yeah, Kaflafuta basically at the moment economically has not benefited the local people, and this is where my passion is. I wish we had time to talk about why I came into politics. I came into politics because I noticed that despite the wealthy of the area, our people were not, benefiting from the wealth that we have. Right now, I wish to state that one of the major problems we've had in the area is the problem of road infrastructure. Kaflafuta has not been attended to for many years, for some decades now. And my agenda really, the first thing that I'm looking at is opening up Kaflafuta, that is the road infrastructure. So I've got an agenda which we are working at right now. Is we are going to ensure that all the feeder roads are worked out and so on. I've been in contact with ministers responsible for helping us, Honorable Garin Kombo, him being the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, and he's promised to help us where he can. I'm very much aware, I'm alive to the fact that the government does not have sufficient money to refurbish all the roads, but I've asked that we have the critical areas attended to. I've also talked to Honorable Charles Melupi, who has also been very magnanimous, and they've all promised that they're going to help us attend to the critical areas of our road networks. But as far as the feeder roads are concerned, this is something that I have already got the plan, I've strategized, and that is what is going to help us to put up some structures in schools, staff accommodation for teachers, putting up a health posts, because as it is now, it's a fallacy to think that we can have proper schools, because even if you want to build, there are no roads for vehicles to ferry building materials. That's how bad the situation is. So we are working towards that, and I really want the people of Kaflafuta to have their faith in me. There is nothing that I promised in the campaign that is not going to be done. We know we have water problems. There are actually 4 areas that I'm looking at. We addressing the water problem, and very soon we had some boreholes approved. About 9 boreholes have been approved, and we are moving in that direction to ensure that certain areas are helped with water. And because of the desire I have to serve, I want the people of Kaflafuta to have faith in me. I want to ensure that all the projects that we have from the CDF benefit the people of Kaflafuta, which means all the contracts in Kaflafuta are going to be handled by the people of Kaflafuta, except where we don't have the expertise. I am aware that we don't have sufficient schools. There are places I went to where my heart was really broken. I went to Chikoka, where I found pupils sitting on logs under the tree, and actually that is also in an area called Iyande. We are looking into these areas very, very seriously. So I want people to be patient. If I had been in office for 3-4 years and you see nothing happening, then I would graciously take the criticisms that people are bringing about. But as things stand, I would like people to cool their tempers and to be patient with me. And I know that the aspect of roads is something that has been talked about by many people from Kaflafuta. But my response really is, even if the people of Kaflafuta went into town, and I know they go in town, the roads are bad. It's not Mureba who is an MP there. It's just a signal. They should learn from there that this is a national problem. It is not a Kaflafuta problem. It is a national problem which they need to give us time to work and have it fixed. So having said all that, more blessings to my Zambian fellows, and more blessings to the people of Kaflafuta.
My name is Gordon Mwila. I'm the Member of Parliament for Mufulira Central Constituency under the Patriotic Front ticket. So I'm born and bred in Mufulira, did my schooling in Mufulira, and went to university in Kitwe. By profession, I am a chartered accountant, and I did work in my professional career as an accountant for a period spanning about 20 years before quitting formal employment and joining politics. I'm a family man. I'm married, and I've got 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. Okay, so Mufulira Central Constituency is one of the 3 constituencies in Mufulira district. Records show that it was created as a constituency in 1954, and between 1954 and independence in 1964 there were about 2 members of parliament who served, and then in 1964 to date I happen to be the 11th member of parliament to serve in that constituency. The constituency has got 10 wards, from Ward 1 to Ward 10. So we serve with I serve with 10 councillors, and the constituency itself is located on the southern part of Mufulira district. So in terms of development, we have quite a loaded agenda. There are so many areas and so many sectors that we need to address and look at to better the lives of our people in the constituency. For this term, for this coming 5 years while I serve as Member of Parliament, one of the things that we are prioritizing is the road infrastructure, the township roads. The place has expanded, you know, as a constituency. We have got areas which have been opened up, people have built houses, they are residing there, but we have a big problem with the road network. The roads are in bad state, and especially when you look at this current season, the rainy season, you know, it is very, very difficult to even use some of the roads. So, one of the items on our development agenda is to make sure that we improve on the road network. We have to use all the means possible, including seeking help from the central government and also from our local funding, the Constituency Development Fund, and working together with the local authority so that we make our township roads passable and usable. So that is one of the items in terms of development. The other areas of development we need to look at is the education sector. We need to improve education facilities. As you have seen now, in this year we are talking about, you know, free education from secondary school, grade 8 to grade 12, even primary, because even little monies that people would pay previously, like 10 kwacha PTA contribution, all those have been scrapped off. So schools have been
Chair. Good morning, CS and your team. My name is Godfrey Daka, Acting Director, Luapula Province, Office of the Auditor General.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, CS and your team. My name is Chishimba Mwewa, Assistant Director, Office of the Auditor General, Luapula Province.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning once again. Good morning, Milenge, and welcome. My name is Bonaventure Miova. I'm the Principal Auditor under Luapula Province Audit Office.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of the committee, and good morning, Milenge. My name is Oscar Nyarenda from the Office of the Accountant General, Ministry of Finance and National Planning.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. Good morning, Milenge. My name is Achibuye Davis, Acting Assistant Director, Local Authorities, Ministry of Finance, Internal Audit. Welcome.
Good morning, Honorable Chair and other honorable members of Parliament. I'm Edwin Silwimba from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development.
Good morning. My name is Emmanuel Bwalia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you very much. I'll now invite you, Council Secretary, to introduce yourself and allow your colleagues to do the same. Please, your mic.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, the team from Auditor General and the Minister of Local Government. I'm Liusha Inamboe, Council Secretary, Milenge Town Council. And with me, I've got the Director of Works, who is going to introduce himself. Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Emmanuel Muo, the Director of Works for Milenge Town Council.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of Parliament. My name is Gary Chipungu. I'm the District Planning Officer for Milenge Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Msansit Sembe, the Council Treasurer for Milenge Town Council.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. I'm Kennedy Mpondo, Procurement Officer.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members, honorable members. I'm Nicholas Banda, Internal Auditor, Milenge Town Council.
Thank you very much. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, good morning. Good morning, our permanent witnesses. Good morning, Milenge Town Council. I'm Singombe Edgar, representing Dundumwes constituency of Kalomo in Southern Province. You are welcome to your committee. Thank you.
Dr. Mwanza.
Morning, Chair, and morning of permanent witnesses, and good morning, Milenge. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency, Petauke district of the Eastern Province. You're most welcome to your committee. Thank you.
Morning, Chair. Morning, our permanent witnesses, and good morning, Milenge Town Council. This is Honorable Uhamba Mwene, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency in Western Province, and I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nyambose. Vice Chair. Thank you very much. Milenge Town Council, my name is Mulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siabonga constituency, and I'm the chairperson for the Committee on Local Government Accounts, the committee appearing before this morning. As per tradition, Council Secretary, members of Parliament enjoy the immunity under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, and the same is extended to you when you appear before any parliamentary committee, that you are conferred with that immunity, that whatever you say during our interaction will not be used against you. However, if you choose to mislead it, the same Cap 12 will be used against you. But I'm on firm belief that you will not mislead us, that you're going to give us factual information this morning, and that you give us the information that will help us, generate a very good report. With that immunity conferred on you, I would like now to invite you to make your submission before this committee with the further guidance that you are only going to read the query, your response, management response, the action, and of course the remit that you are offering. So with that guidance, you may proceed, Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. The first query, Chair, is on community projects, which is the Mother Shelter, Sokontwe Rural Health Center. Chair, the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, which took place after the defects liability period for the same project, the roof had depressions and some window panes were not properly done, thereby causing the windows not to close properly. Chair, action taken. The Council will acknowledge the omission and wishes to report that the contractor was engaged to mobilize and get back to the site to correct the identified defects before the end of December. That was 2023, Chair. However, after numerous follow-ups on the contractor, which proved futile, the local authority had to report the said company to ZPPA for failure to fulfill its contractual obligations. The letter to the contractor for the correction of the defects and the letter to the ZPPA are available for verification, Chair. And management further wishes to report that a proposal to the CDF committee to have the project worked on was submitted and currently just awaiting the decision of the committee as attached on Appendix 1.
Proceed.
remedial measures, Chair. The Council management will always endeavor to make sure that all the approved community projects are timely and properly implemented by the local authority in order to foster socio-economic development in the district. And management further wishes to assure that in future, only contractors with satisfactory execution of projects will be considered to implement project within the local authority. Thank you, Chair.
Proceed.
The second query, Chair, is on completion of 1x2 classroom block, which is Butimbwe. Chair, cause of the query, the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, which took place after the defects liability period for the same project, it was discovered that the floor had cracks, depressions in the classrooms, and peeling off of the walls in the classroom, Chair. Action taken, the Council acknowledges the omission and wishes to report that the contractor was engaged to mobilize and get back to the site for the correction of the identified defects before the end of the first quarter 2024. Council wishes to report that all identified defects were corrected by the contractor. Confirmation letter for the correction of the defects by the contractor and pictures are available for verifications as attached on Appendix 2, Chair. Remedial measures, Chair. The Council management will always endeavor to make sure that all the approved community projects are timely and properly implemented by the local authority in order to foster socio-economic development in the district. And management further wishes to assure that in future, only contractors with satisfactory execution of projects will be considered to execute projects within the local authority. The following query, Chair, is on installation of mechanized water scheme at Milenge District Hospital, Chair. Cause of the query, the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, only 5,000-liter polyclone tank was found at the project site instead of the 10,000-liter polyclone tank, which was indicated in the BOQ. Chair, management wishes to state that the supplier who was engaged for this project supplied 2 by 5,000-liter polyclone tanks for the Council, and before the project could be completed, one of the supplied water tanks was used by Milenge District Hospital Management. That was due to water and sanitation crisis at the facility, which prompted urgent intervention, Chair. Action taken, the Council acknowledges the omission and wishes to report that management at Milenge District Hospital were engaged over this matter and committed to procure and replace the other 5,000-liter polyclone tank, and taking into account all the costs associated with the installation of the water tank before the end of the first quarter 2024. The letter of commitment from Milenge Hospital and the goods received note for the receipt of materials from the supplier are available for verification as attached on Appendix 3, Chair. Remedial measures, Chair, the Council management will always endeavor to make sure that all the approved community projects are timely and properly implemented by the local authority in order to foster socio-economic development in Milenge. And management further wishes to assure that in future, only those contractors with satisfactory execution of projects will be considered to execute projects within the district. The following query, Chair, is on selection of ineligible bidders. Cause of the query, Chair, is the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that 3 bidders or 3 contractors contracts amounting to 558,880 kwacha 75 ngwe were awarded to bidders who were not responsive at some stages of the evaluation process due to the fact that the tender committee had taken into account The constituency development fund guidelines on the need to empower locally based contractors and suppliers to execute CDF projects within the constituency, despite the solicitation documents emphasizing the average turnover and the experience of 2 years as benchmark. Action taken, Chair, combined with remedial measures, the Council regrets the omission and wishes to report that it will always abide by the Public Procurement Act and regulations at all times during the procurement process. The Council further wishes to report that as a matter of concern, the local authority took some drastic steps to sensitizing locally based contractors and suppliers by having quarterly sensitization meetings on how to go about the tendering process and the use of the EGP system. Management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to abide by the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020 and the Public Procurement Regulations of 2022 by ensuring that contractors and suppliers comply with the stated requirements as outlined in the solicitation documents. Chair, the other query is on the women, youth, and community empowerment grants. The cause of the query, Chair, is the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, some cooperatives and clubs which benefited from the 2022 community empowerment grants had not fully implemented the projects they had applied for. Action taken, management further wishes to report that out of the 124 beneficiaries in 2022, some clubs and cooperatives have implemented projects they had applied for, and the projects are currently viable, economical, and very beneficial to the communities, as attached on Appendix 4. Remedial measures, Chair, management wishes to ensure that it will always endeavor to make sure that clubs and cooperatives are sensitized before, during, and after benefiting from the empowerment grants by making sure that regular spot checks and sensitization meetings are conducted. Okay, thank you. The following query, Chair, is on secondary boarding and skills development. Cause of the query, Chair, is the Council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that at the time of audit, some pupils who were paid for boarding schools, bursaries at Milenge Boarding School, amounting to 117,000, were not appearing on the school's pupils database due to the fact that some pupils had dropped out of school due to various reasons, and also some minor misspellings of names at the point of CDF bursary applications and the names contained in the school's database and class registers. Action taken. The Council acknowledges the omission and wishes to report that Milenge Boarding Secondary School management was engaged on this omission, and it was established that out of the 39 unknown pupils at Milenge Boarding School, 28 pupils were traced and they were in the school database and were bona fide pupils of Milenge Boarding School who benefited from the CDF secondary boarding bursaries at Milenge Boarding School as indicated in Appendix 5A. Further, management wishes to report that Milenge Boarding Secondary School management has committed to refund the local authority for the 11 paid for unknown pupils amounting to 33,000 in the first term of 2024 when the schools receive funding and payments from different sponsors for their pupils, such as from CAMFED, CDF, and KGS. The commitment letter, Chair, school class registers and ECZ school-based assessment checklists are available for verification as attached on Appendix 5A. Remedial measures, The council management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to make sure that regular and timely spot checks and head count in secondary boarding schools are undertaken to take stock of the actual pupils who would have reported in schools, and payments for beneficiaries will always and only be based on the number of pupils found in the school during spot checks and head counts. The following query, Chair, is on overpayment of boarding fees. This is Luela Secondary School. And the cause of the query, Chair, is the council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that Luela Boarding Secondary School confirmed in a letter to the council having 82 pupils on CDF Secondary School Bursary Program in their school database, and after an audit, it was established or discovered that only 81 pupils were under CDF Bursary sponsorship, resulting in an overpayment of 3,000 kwacha. Action taken, Chair. This council management acknowledged the omission and wishes to report that Luela Boarding Secondary School management was engaged on this omission, and the school committed to refund the local authority an amount of 3,000 in the first term of 2024 when the schools open and receive funding and payments from different sponsors for pupils such as CDF, CAMFED and KGS. The letter confirming the number of pupils under CDF bursary and the commitment letter for the refund of 3,000 are available for verification as attached on Appendix 6, Chair. And the remedial measures, the council management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to make sure that regular and timely spot checks and head count in secondary boarding schools are undertaken to take stock of pupils who would have reported in school, and payment for beneficiaries will always only be based on the number of pupils found in school during spot checks and head count. The other query, Chair, is on irregular payment of boarding fees for pupils sponsored by other institutions at Milenge Boarding Secondary School. Cause of the query, Chair, is the council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that Milenge Boarding Secondary School confirmed in their letter to the council having 186 pupils on CDF Secondary School Bursary Program in their school database. And after an audit, it was discovered that 7 pupils who were paid for under CDF Bursary sponsorship were also under sponsorship of other institutions, Chair. Action taken. The council regrets the omission and wishes to report that Milenge Boarding Secondary School management was engaged on this omission, and the school committed to refund the local authority an amount of 21,000 in the first term of 2024 when schools open and when they receive funding and payments from different sponsors for their pupils such as CDF, CAMFED and KGS. The letter confirming the number of pupils under CDF bursary and commitment letter for the refund of 21,000 are available for verification, Chair, which is attached on 5B, Appendix 5B. Remedial measures. The council management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to make sure that regular and timely spot checks and head count in secondary school are undertaken to take stock of the pupils who would have reported in schools, and payments for beneficiaries will always and only be based on number of pupils found in school during spot checks and head counts. Additionally, Chair, management pledges that when scrutinizing and making recommendations to CDFC on secondary school
secondary boarding school
bursaries, verifications with secondary schools management will be conducted to establish and identify the other sponsors that may be presented to the applicants on the CDF bursary program, Chair.
Continue.
The following query, Chair, is on double payments of boarding fees, that is Milenge Boarding Secondary School. Chair, The council wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that Milenge Boarding Secondary School confirmed in their letter to the council as having 186 pupils on CDF Secondary School Bursary Program in their school database, and after an audit, it was discovered that 8 pupils were paid for under CDF Bursary sponsorship, had their names duplicated, and in that list thereby making a double payment of 24,000. Action taken, Chair. The council regrets the omission and wishes to report that Milenge Boarding Secondary School management was engaged on this omission, and the school committed to refund the local authority an amount of 24,000 in the first term of 2024, when the schools open and receive funding and payments from different sponsors for their pupils, such as CDF, GAMFED, and KGS. The letter confirming the number of pupils under CDF Bursary and commitment letter for the refund of 24,000 are available for verification, which is attached as Appendix 5C. Remedial measures, Chair. The council management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to make sure that regular and timely spot checks and head count in secondary boarding schools are undertaken to take stock of the pupils who would have reported in schools, and payments for beneficiaries will always and only be based on the number of pupils found in school during spot checks and head count. The second query, Chair, is questionable payment of fees for an extra term for pupils in examination classes. And the cause of the query, Chair, is management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to report that following the approval of the bursaries in June 2022 for students already enrolled, a payment was made for the calendar year 2022 for the 3 terms, and the first term fees were outstanding. The third term fees were paid in consideration of historic attendance of the learners. Action taken. Chair, the council acknowledges the omission and wishes to state that payments which were made for the pupils in examination classes were for the first, second, and third terms of 2022, which is 3 school terms in 2022, and not for the first term of 2023. Council further wishes to state that the 2022 CDF guidelines were only made available in February 2022, and the approval process of the identified community projects, empowerment grants, and secondary boarding schools and skills development by the ministry were only concluded in June 2022, and acting on the presidential pronouncement on the free education for all, Chair, management had to negotiate with secondary schools management to accommodate all the pupils in the first term of 2022 who had applied and qualified for boarding secondary bursaries, who included pupils in final examination classes, which was grade 9 and 12 then, and pay for those services after the approval process was concluded. School timetable for final examination classes, which is grade 9 and 12, indicating the dates when pupils completed their final examinations, were available for verification and is attached as Appendix 7. Remedial measure, Chair. The council management wishes to assure that it will always endeavor to make sure that regular and timely spot checks and head count in secondary boarding schools are undertaken to take stock of the pupils who would have reported in schools, and payments for the beneficiaries will always and only be based on the number of pupils found in school during spot checks and head count. Management further wishes to pledge that it will always endeavor to make sure that the value for money under secondary boarding school and skills development component of the CDF, of the expanded CDF, is achieved by making sure that all necessary internal controls are in place and well implemented.
That's a loaded part 1. Let's proceed with part 2.
Thank you. Chair, part B, these are cross-cutting audit findings. The first one is budget performance. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the omission and wishes to state that the variance in funding of 2 million was due to the CDF monitoring and police vehicles which were centrally procured by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development on behalf of local authority. The interest earned was on the main CDF account and was paid into a consolidated fund account at the Ministry of Finance as earlier guided by the Ministry on the retention of interest earned. The balance brought forward represents the 2021 CDF funding and committed funds in respect of work in progress for 2021 and the retention amounts for the completed projects. Chair, further management wishes to report that delay in implementation of the CDF programs was mainly due to the delayed publication of the CDF guidelines, prolonged and centralized approval process, length of procurement process, and delay in signing of the service level agreement between government and financial institutions in respect of empowerment loans. Action taken, management acknowledges the observation by the auditor and wishes to report that it has since spent amounting totaling to 11,917,982, which represents 82%, and it leaves a balance of 2,598,522 as at 31st December 2023. Chair, the balance constitutes amounts for retentions for completed community projects and work in progress as shown in the table of the expenditure as at 31st December 2023. I don't know whether I should go through
go to remedial measures.
Remedial measure, Chair. Management will endeavor to ensure that all CDF community projects are approved prior to the year of implementation in accordance with the CDF guidelines and other relevant circulars to avoid any delays in implementation. On the cross-cutting issue, the second query is on failure to spend. Cause of the query, Chair, management acknowledges the auditor's observations and wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the failure to implement community projects within the 2022 financial year. Management further wishes to submit that there was limited time to undertake all the process, which is project identification, appraisal, WDCs, orientation meetings on the new CDF guidelines, CDFC sittings, securing approval from the ministry headquarters and procurement processes to secure contractors. This was due to the late release and orientation of the CDF guidelines, Chair. Action taken, management wishes to report that contracts for the 2022 community projects were awarded to successful bidders in January 2023, and the implementation of the same projects are progressing well, with most projects being at 70% completion. Progress report and pictures of some community projects are available for verifications as attached on Appendix 8, Chair. Remedial measures, management will endeavor to ensure that all CDF community projects are approved prior to the year of implementation in accordance with CDF guidelines and other relevant circulars to avoid any delays in implementation.
Yes, finally.
The last one, Chair, is failure to disburse soft loans. And the cause of the query, Chair, is management acknowledges the auditor's observation and wishes to report that the reason for the query was due to the fact that the guidance on which financial institutions to handle the soft loans was only given on 1st November 2022 by the Secretary to Treasury, and conveyance notification of approval for the recommended loan applicants was granted on 26 June 2023. Action taken, Chair. Management wishes to report that all the empowerment loans for the 2022 financial year were disbursed as soon as all the processes were done in July 2023, and payment vouchers and list and a list itemizing the number of beneficiaries and amount funded by the bank are available for verification, Chair. Remedial measures: management will endeavor to ensure that all CDF commit projects are approved prior to the year of implementation in accordance with CDF guidelines and other relevant circulars to avoid any delays in implementation. Thank you, Chair.
Like indicated, it's quite a length. Honorable Singombe, Dr. Mwanza, but let's allow Honorable Simumba to introduce himself.
Thank you very much. Milenge Town Council, you are most welcome to your committee. I'm Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. Thank you very much.
And Mutelo Mishek, MP for Mitete. Honorable Singombe.
Chair, I'm very grateful, and CS, thank you very much for your report. Chair, allow me to ask a question from, I think query number 1 and query number 2 are similar.
1 and 2?
1 and 2 are similar with similar answers. My question, CS, here on the construction of mother's shelter, so Kontwe Rural Health Center, and the reasons that you are giving, you are saying that, or maybe the project, the roof had depression and some window panes were not properly done, thereby causing the windows not to close properly. My question is, why are you not inspecting? Because for me, I see the absence of your local authority, because you are saying it was after the defects liability period. What has it got to do with the depression of the roof and the windows not closing properly? It means you did not monitor the contractor. A well-monitored project can stay for 15 years without the roof warping. So are you saying it was a result of this period that had elapsed? This is why the roof had a depression. So the question is, why didn't you monitor? If the Auditor General had not come, it means these defects would not have been noticed. So, Chair, this is question 1 and question 2, similar answer and causes. So the question is, where was the local authority during the construction of these 2 pieces of infrastructure? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mwanza, is it on the same? Yes, please, let's be taking note of the observations.
On the same, the 2 contractors, I'll deal with Sokontwe Rural Health Center. Council, I followed the communication actually quite well. This project, it was after the defects liability period that the auditors, together with you, discovered those kind of defects. And there you made efforts to make the contractor make good of the defects. The contractor never showed up to date. Then you went to seek advice from ZPPA, and ZPPA never responded to you. I'm not sure the current status of the project, because from the communication you've asked for some funds, almost 90,000 kwacha, 89,000 kwacha, something like that, from the WDC, from the CDF committee, additional funding to rectify the defects. This is a client, this is a project manager who is now seeking funds to to rectify the defects of the project. My questions are, at what stage did you discover the defects? Is it before the end of the defects liability period or after? Second is the additional funding you are requesting from the CDF committee. Is it a sign of giving up from the contractor for not doing his contractual obligations or something like this? In the meantime, answer that question about when did you discover? Is it before or after the defects liability period? That's when subsequent questions can follow.
CS and your team, let's start with the first question and the second.
Thank you, Chair. I've come with a team. May you allow me maybe to call in the Director of Works to explain on that?
Yes, sir. That's why you are a group.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Director?
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. And thank you very much, Honorable.
You remember the first question?
Yes, I do remember.
Please.
The question was whether we had the presence of the council as these projects were being implemented. I think, Chair, from the records that are there, it does indicate, when you go through the reports, it does indicate that the presence of the local authority was there. So maybe just not sure on the part of probably for how long maybe the presence was there, because usually most of these projects you do find that maybe when you go it would have been after some time, maybe the contractors done the roofing and everything. So maybe on the part of the roofing, probably maybe the time that the monitoring or supervision was done, it could have maybe looked okay, because maybe they had used timber that had probably not cured at that time. Yeah, so I think maybe that's the only response I can give, sir.
Yes, sir. Switch off.
The director should not be guessing. Director, be precise. You are the ones, or you are the one who are supposed to be monitoring. So when you say probably, then you're believing us hanging. Tell us, how is this roof? How was it done? Are you still using timber in Milenge? Some of us we have abandoned because it doesn't, it's not good because of such things. You use it before it is cured, then you have a warped roof. So don't use the word probably. For me, it doesn't sit well. I want to know, where were you? It's also possible maybe you had not reported at Milenge, so you may not have the facts. So please be precise on this question. We want to know. When you look at, Chair, when you look at the response there where it says some windows panes were not properly done. You see? Meaning there was no presence of the local authority. Because if the local authority was present, such things could have been rectified before the defects liability period. So be precise, Director of Works.
Thank you very much, Chair. I was responding to maybe the issues that have just been inherited. So I'm just responding on behalf of the office. And I also just took time just to go through the reports concerning this same project, Chair. So my response is actually just responding as an office. Thank you.
CS?
Yes, Chair.
I'll request you and your team to temporarily step out for 2 to 3 minutes. We'll call you back.
My eParliament mobile application. My eParliament is a mobile application developed by the National Assembly of Zambia in order to bring Parliament closer to you. You can download and install My eParliament from App Store or Play Store. Once installed, you can raise your concerns, provide your input, opinion and feedback on various projects or decisions being made in your constituency. On My eParliament mobile application, you can listen to Parliament Radio. You will have access to parliamentary documents such as bills and acts which are considered in Parliament. You will also have access to National Assembly social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and